Hello, as you all know, my name is Peter Reynolds and I'm the President of CLEAR Cannabis Law Reform. I'm also a member of the Advisory Board of the Cannabis Trades Association. And what I'd like to do is update you on where we are with the cannabis campaign in Britain. Now, recently there have been some very welcome reforms around medical access. And whilst these are very welcome and they really are a breakthrough, it looks pretty certain they're not going to go far enough. And that in reality, most people who need cannabis as medicine will be continuing to access it through the black market. Really what's happening is this. The Chief Medical Officer was asked to advise the government on whether or not there is any medical benefit in cannabis. And astonishingly, she came back within 48 hours and said there was overwhelming evidence of benefit. And so what's happening now is we have to define what is meant by a cannabis-based medicine. And it's only when this definition comes up that the government will decide which cannabis products to reschedule out of Schedule 1 into Schedule 2. And it looks pretty certain that they're trying to continue to prevent access to herbal cannabis. Now, if they do this, in my view, it'll be little more than a joke, but they will have missed the opportunity. And Bedrocan cannabis, herbal cannabis, grown to the very highest standard under the auspices of Bedrocan, the Dutch government's official contractor, is the gold standard for medical cannabis in Europe. And using Bedrocan herbal cannabis in a vaporizer is the safest and most effective way of using cannabis as a medicine. It's safe, it doesn't have the same products of combustion as smoking, it's effective in that it works very quickly, and most importantly of all, it enables very accurate self-titration, so you know when you've had enough. Unlike when you eat cannabis, or even when you put it under the tongue and it's absorbed through the mucous membranes. Those methods takes a lot longer to get the cannabis into the bloodstream, and you don't know whether you've had enough, whereas vaporizing is the perfect solution. And the idea that virtually every other country in Europe, apart from the UK, should have access to this is just absurd. So we'll have to see where we go on that. I'm in a very fortunate position because through the Cannabis Trades Association, the MHRA have asked us to contribute to their work on the definition of a cannabis-based medicine, and we've put forward a very strong case why access to Bedrocan is essential. So that's where we are on the medical campaign. What remains, of course, is access to cannabis, for general access to cannabis for adult use or for social use, or whatever you want to call it. And let's be clear, although the medical campaign has always been our top priority, and it's the most urgent priority, there's more harm in our society caused by the general prohibition of cannabis. As we know, there are 3 million people who use cannabis regularly in this country. We spend about 6 billion a year on the product, and we consume more than 3.5 tons every day. And this is all at the moment in the hands of criminal gangs. Government has just abandoned all responsibility. And it seems that even on the medical reform, it seems they're determined to continue abandoning most of this responsibility to criminal gangs. So we have to get a grip of this. We have to take cannabis out of the criminal market. We have to introduce a system of legal regulation, as has now been done successfully in many other places. The news from Colorado continues to be overwhelmingly positive. The most recent was that even the mayor of Denver, who'd actually opposed legalization when it came in 2012, has now said he sees that it works, that it reduces harm, it raises taxes, and it restricts access by children. Canada is going to finally implement its new laws in October, and really Britain is getting increasingly behind, and we're not just missing out, but we're causing harm to our citizens. So the cannabis campaign is not over, is the point I'm making to you. There's a long way yet to go. What's happening in the UK is that there seems to be a bit of polarisation around groups involved in campaigning for medical access and other groups are involved in campaigning for more general legalisation. And I'm sorry to see that happening. Some of the groups that have previously campaigned for both seem to have aligned themselves solely on the medical side, and that's a foolish thing to do. And particularly as I say, most people who use cannabis as medicine will continue to access it through the same markets as people who choose to buy it for recreational use. So that's where we are. We continue to need your support. Please continue to follow CLEAR. Our daily newsfeed, I'm proud to say, is the best there is. It'll keep you up to date on everything that's happening in cannabis and drugs policy. And please, if you haven't signed up as a member already, then do so. We need your support, we need your name on the list, and we need your money, because we have to keep fighting this battle. It's not a long way, the war is still on.